Good day, children. Having finished with isomerism, today we are going to begin with the first homologous series of hydrocarbons, which is called alkanes. Alkanes are the saturated hydrocarbons which have a general formula of CnH2n plus 2. Now all the hydrocarbons which follow this particular general formula come under the category of alkanes. Now all the carbon atoms in alkanes are held by a single bond. Irrespective of the number of carbon atoms, they are all held together by a single bond. Because their valency is completely satisfied, that is why they show very little affinity with other compounds or with other elements. And for the same reason they are called paraffins. They are also called paraffins. Para refers to little and affins refers to affinity. Because they have very little affinity with other elements or other compounds, that is why they are also known as paraffins. Now the first member of alkanes is CH4. The second member is C2H6. Next is C3H8. C4H10, C5H12. The first member is known as methane. Meth because of the single carbon atom and ane because of the single bond. This one is called ethane. This is called propane. Butane with 4 carbon atoms and pentane with 5 carbon atoms and so on. Likewise we will have hexane, heptane, octane, nonane and decane. Now do you notice that between any two consecutive members there is a difference of 1 carbon atom and 2 hydrogen atoms? In any, you can see any consecutive member, every time the carbon atom is increasing by 1 and the hydrogen atoms are increasing by 2. Now such a group of compounds or such series of compounds, those who follow the same general formula and they differ by CH2 group are referred to as the homologous series. Homologous series. Presently we are talking of the homologous series of alkanes. Similarly we have the homologous series of alkenes, homologous series of alkynes, homologous series of alcohols, aldehydes, carboxylic acid and so on. The rule is for every homologous series the general formula will be the same and the consecutive members of the family will vary by CH2 group. Now because the variation is by CH2 group, the mass of carbon is 12, the mass of 2 hydrogen atoms is 2. If you add the 2, the sum comes out to be 14. That means whatever is the mass of this hydrocarbon plus 14 will be the mass of next carbon atom, plus 14 will be the mass of next carbon atom and so on. That means there is a variation of 14 by mass in every consecutive member of the family. This was regarding the homologous series. Now let's talk about alkanes in general. Now these names which I have given you are also the common names. Like methane is called methane only in IUPAC system also as well as in the common name system. And similarly ethane is called ethane both ways, propane is called propane both ways and butane is also called likewise. Now we will talk about, because they have the same general formula, their method of preparation and their properties are more or less the same. Okay, so if you want to study the entire homologous series of alkanes, you may just study the first and the second member. The method of preparation, the properties, everything will be the same. So in every homologous series we will just be studying the first or maybe the second member of the family and that's it. Now the first member of the family is methane. I think methane is nothing new to you, you already know. Now it exists in the gaseous state. It is also known as marsh gas. May I know why it is called marsh gas? Marsh basically refers to a swampy area. Okay. Now this gas keeps on coming out from the marshy areas or from the swampy areas. That is why it is called marsh gas. Actually in a swampy area what do you see? You see a loose sand and then you see a lot of moisture. So with the result, with the plants and the animals, they get stuck in the swampy area or in the marshy area, and they either die and then they begin to decompose. Wherever the decomposition of the organic matter will take place, this marsh gas will be given out. This gas is very highly combustible. It has a very high calorific value. What do you mean by calorific value? It means that a small amount of methane will burn and it will produce a large amount of energy. Alright, so it produces a large amount of energy when it is burnt even in small quantity. So these are some of the characteristics of marsh gas or methane. I hope you remember it is also a gas which causes global warming. Alright, so it is also a greenhouse gas. So these are some of the characteristics. The Lewis dot diagram you already know. Carbon has 4 electrons in the valence shell. It shares each of its electron with a hydrogen atom, and that is how a CH4 molecule is formed. Alright. Similarly, when you have to talk about the next member, there will be the sharing between the 2 carbon atoms. I will show you. The carbon atoms, each one of them will share one of its electron with the carbon atom and the other 3 with hydrogens. We normally take this structure for granted because we've been doing it from the junior classes, but mind it, this year in the board exam you got a question where you had to draw the structure of ethane molecule, and the most important thing which they were noticing was, have you shown hydrogen and carbon with a different symbol, or are you using the same symbol? So the symbols for different atoms have to be different. Keep this in mind. Now this hydrogen is completing the duplet. Each of the hydrogen is completing the duplet, and carbon is completing the octet. See, look for this carbon atom say 1, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and this electron. So this is how carbon is completing its octet. Similarly, the other carbon atom is also completing its octet by using the electron of the other carbon atom. So this is the structure of ethane, and the structure of methane I have already explained it to you. Now we will study how methane can be prepared in the lab, what are the different methods, how can it be prepared on a large scale, alright, and what are its properties. So we are studying methane in detail because if you know about everything about the first member of the family, you know about the entire homologous series of alkanes. So the first thing is lab preparation of methane. This is a very, very important reaction. Very often they ask you the lab preparation of methane. Now, for the preparation of methane in the laboratory, we talk about the lab preparation when we have to prepare something on a smaller scale. When the same thing has to be prepared on a large scale, then we talk about its industrial preparation. Alright, we will come to that too. But presently, let's study the lab preparation. It is prepared by reacting. Can you name this compound? This was the last, when we were talking about the nomenclature, this was the last one which we discussed. Now, this is an ester, R, COO, R dash. When you are talking about this, you write the name of the last radical first of all. The last radical happens to be sodium. So write down sodium. Now count the number of carbon atoms. There are 2 carbon atoms in the remaining molecule. So the prefix will be eth. And because it is an ester, you use the suffix of noate. So the name of the compound is sodium ethanoate. This is the IUPAC name. Otherwise it is called sodium acetate. This is a common name. This one doesn't, please don't apply the logics of IUPAC system to the common names. The rules will not apply to this name. According to IUPAC system, the name of this compound is sodium ethanoate. When sodium ethanoate is made to react with soda lime, this is soda. Common name of sodium hydroxide is soda. and lime. Lime is calcium oxide. Calcium oxide is present. By the way, it is not acting as a catalyst. Over here we are writing this because it is a drying agent. All alkalis are deliquescent in nature. They absorb water from the atmosphere. In order to prevent sodium hydroxide from absorbing water, calcium oxide is used. By the way, this was also a question in this year board exam. They asked you what is the purpose of calcium oxide in the lab preparation of methane. So you don't have to write. Quite a number of children had written it is acting as a catalyst. No, it is not acting as a catalyst. It is only preventing sodium hydroxide from absorbing the moisture. Alright. So in the presence of calcium oxide, the two of them react. This methyl group combines with hydrogen and forms methane. What are we left with? We are left with two atoms of sodium. So you write Na2. We have one atom of carbon, this one. So write down C. And we are left with 1, 2 and 3 atoms of oxygen. So O3. Methane and sodium carbonate. Alright. So as a matter of rule, whenever you are writing a reaction, you should always write the name of the hydrocarbon, whether it is a reactant or a product. Alright. So you may not write the name of sodium hydroxide or calcium oxide or sodium carbonate, but you must write down the name of this compound and this one. So when sodium ethanoate combines with soda lime, it forms methane and sodium carbonate. Now, as I told you, when you are studying the any particular homologous series, you just need to know about the first member. So the first member is prepared like this. Do you think the next member can also be prepared by the same method? Yes, it can. Only what we have to do is increase one carbon atom in the reactants. So here, rather than taking CH3, we will take C2H5. Increase one carbon atom. C2H5, COO, Na plus rest everything is the same. NaOH, on the bracket write down lime. Lime is calcium oxide. Now this time it will form C2H6 and Na2CO3. Exactly the same way. We have only increased one carbon atom. So out of two carbon atoms, when you have to prepare alkane with two carbon atoms, take two carbon atoms in the alkyl radical. That's it. When you have to prepare propane, then you can take C3H7COONA and rest everything will be the same. So all the members can be prepared in the lab by the same method. Okay, so this is the lab preparation. I have already told you it is very important. Now, how can you prepare methane on a large scale, on the industrial level? So, industrial preparation. Industrial preparation basically refers to large scale preparation of methane. Okay, when we have to prepare it on a large scale, we take methyl iodide. It can be any halide. Instead of iodine, you could have taken bromine also. When it is made to react with two nascent hydrogen atoms. Now you all know that it is difficult to obtain a nascent atom, whether it is of hydrogen or chlorine or oxygen or any gas. So whenever you are writing the reaction with the nascent form of any gas, it is important to write the source. The source of this is zinc, copper, couple. Couple means both of them have to be together in the presence of alcohol. So zinc, copper, couple in the presence of alcohol, when they will react, besides the other products, they will also produce nascent hydrogen. So before the nascent hydrogen atoms can combine to form a molecule, the reaction takes place with this, this should have been CH3. CH3I, methyl iodide. The name is methyl iodide. This is the common name. How do you write the IUPAC name? Iodomethane. The name IUPAC name is iodomethane. So when it combines with two nascent hydrogens, one of the nascent hydrogens combine with the methyl radical and forms a CH4. The other hydrogen combines with iodine and forms HI, hydrogen iodide. So this is methane. So this is one method by which methane can be prepared on a large scale. By the way, this is not the only method by which methane can be prepared on a large scale. There must be around 10 to 15 methods which can be used to prepare methane on a large scale. Anyway, we will limit ourselves only to the first method. Alright, now this was regarding the preparation of methane and ethane and whatever. Now regarding the properties and how do they combine with other substances in spite of their little affinity with other compounds, that we will talk about in the next video. Alright children, take care. Bye bye.